Okay, so season 8, episode 1 of season 8. What are we gonna call it? We need like a catchy something. 8. Think 8.
8 is enough.
8 is enough.
I mean, that's kind of negative, though.
That means we're over at 8.
8 isn't enough?
Yeah.
8 isn't enough. That's clever.
8 days a week.
Can't afford that. I feel like we would have to pay some sort of licensing title.
7, 8, 9.
7, 8.
Oh, no. Figure eights. We'll put you in a tutu.
I like 8. 8 is enough, actually, has a nice ring to it.
This week on Soundwaves TV, we kick off our 8th season with my girl crush, guitarist extraordinaire Gretchen Menn. And we'll premiere a new format that will introduce you to your favorite new artist every single week. This is Soundwaves TV. Cheers. I did it! Well, here we are. It's season 8 of Soundwaves
Season
TV.
8? Wow, that happened. Here we go.
Season 8?
Here we go.
What in the actual... Oh, you forgot.
Oh, I did.
It's
I'm
bad
sorry.
luck.
All right,
Do it.
sorry.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
One more
1, 2, 3.
All right, there we go.
That's our new thing. Or it should be. It will be. We'll get there.
It will be.
It's our new thing. Period. That's all we need to say.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So season 8. Can you believe this? I'm so excited. We have some new rules on the program this season. And my first...
Not the Bill Maher new rules either.
No,
It's just kind of a new way of doing things, but...
No. Soundwaves TV is about music, so no politics here at least. Sometimes on TMI, but not here. And we're gonna really stretch our legs. We're not gonna have a time limit.
That's right.
We're throwing out the clock.
Right.
Screw it.
So you're saying the new rules is that there's no rules?
Yes.
I like that.
Yep.
That's
Isn't
a rule
that
I can
great?
get behind. Yes.
I know. Yeah. So we're just gonna have some fun and entertain the crap out of you. Have a lot of great music, great conversation, loads of beer, and the clock doesn't exist.
So we're eight seasons into it now. This is the beginning of the 8th season.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be a good idea to actually take a look back. You know, because I see clips from like our first few shows.
Yeah.
And for starters, can I just say you're holding up quite well?
Oh, please.
You know, I mean,
you look exactly the same.
No,
You guys
shit.
are so full
yeah,
of it.
no, I'm not kidding. Because I'll take a look and I go, really? Hey, holy shit! You know, she's got to have a painting up in her attic that's just all you know. Because
I love you for saying that.
or drinking the blood of virgins or something like that. Not Dennis
happens.
or I or not, but there's
I mean, I am Morticia.
I can always tell what season it is based on my weight, and it used to be my hairline.
Oh, yeah.
But that's fairly consistent right now. But yeah, I'm just like, wow, the gray and the weight. I'm like, that was season 4. I was kind of thin in season 4. Not so thin now, but I mean,
Oh man, TV keeps you humble.
right?
Yeah.
But I can't tell what it is by looking at you. I mean, just,
You guys are full of it, but I so appreciate you for that. Thank you. I've gotten far more. My streak, my gray is, in fact, you can see it. If you zoom in, you can see it right there. My gray streak is getting more prominent. Fun fact, sidebar, my grandmother, I think I've told you guys this before, my grandmother literally had like Bride of Frankenstein right down the front of her head. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm doing.
You were going to rock that shit.
And I was going to say, and soon I'll just let it go and I'll rock it. So I will literally transform into the Bride of Frankenstein.
No,
and that's okay.
I mean, the only thing different for me is just your little scar.
My scar.
There, which you know I love.
Yeah,
so,
but that also is on brand with Bride of Frankenstein.
Yep, exactly.
that's funny.
You know what
that's
I mean?
funny.
So
I don't
that's
even
fine.
see the scar. I don't even.
You don't?
Well,
Oh,
I get to sit on the
He's
side.
on the side.
Right. Yeah. You have advantage.
He's-
I get the front row here.
Yeah.
So in addition to, or other than Chasta's scar,
Yes.
what else has changed over the 8 seasons from season 1 to the beginning of season 8? Let's talk about how things have changed.
Well, I think let's go back to where we started, because the whole reason for this Soundwaves revival was the fact that corporate radio had moved away from the opportunity for anybody to walk into a radio station with a CD.
Yeah.
And so, and in the 5 years or so since that had happened, you and I had connected over Christmas, and we realized, like, there's no outlet for these bands.
Yeah.
And as soon as you start looking, you go, oh my God, look at all that talent out there that's not being showcased anywhere. And so that was our mission starting out. That was our mission in 1983. This is our mission now. And I'm thrilled. What's changed is that we've seen a group start to, not a group, but a scene start to grow.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like we've been a part of that in some small way. I feel because...
Not so small way.
I mean, I like to think that we're,
You're being humble, but not so small way.
I am being humble, but because it's a thrill, and I love the opportunity that I've gotten on 107.7 The Bone to have Soundwaves FM, and be able to play those artists as well, because whether we're showcasing them here in an interview setting or we're promoting their shows on FM, I feel that it connects us a little bit more to a lot of, and there's so much happening out there.
Yeah.
And yet I can't say that it's gotten much better. Out there. I still feel like the scene is a little fractured. I still feel like I wish there was 10 of us. I wish there was 50 of us. I wish every radio station had an open door policy.
Yeah. Even though the stations are technically my competitors at the Bone, I also wish that.
Yeah.
Because what's better for the artist is what I care about, and I will say, I feel like we have continually pushed and pushed and pushed out. We had Soundwaves TV, and then, we finally got Soundwaves FM on, and then we, Bone Breakers added to that, and Metal Zone. So now we have a place for new active rock and local rock and metal and all these things. And I feel like we are pushing a boulder up a hill. Yeah. And I think we'll always feel like that, because when you're doing something really important and something that you're proud of, it always feels like, like you're really working on it. It isn't until you get 20 years down the road and you look back and you go, well, like that was cool. Look what we did over there. And I think
that's part of it, though, is because we're on the front line.
Right.
We're the ones that are pushing the boulder.
Right.
And if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. It's one of those things, So we are the vanguard for the music.
Yeah.
But I will say, one of the things that I have noticed that has changed over the past 8 years is our availability to be able to share music. It's one of the things that's great about our relationship with the Complex, because we can take performances and we can I love live music. I mean, we all do. We all love live music. So to be able to share live music is one thing, but that's a combination of the fact that we work with them and we have access to their material, but also because we kind of got hobbled at the knees being able to show music videos as much as we wanted to.
Yeah.
On the radio, it's great. You can play because the radio station pays whatever, so you can play whatever.
Right.
On
Shmoo it's a different story. It's a different landscape.
Yeah, and you're not even dealing with humans.
Yeah.
You're dealing with an algorithm.
That's why I'm talking in code, because I don't want the robots to think I'm talking trash on,
Yeah. But I mean, but full disclosure to our audience, if you're wondering why we play less music videos now, it's because those algorithms are going to come out of nowhere and go, you don't own that, you can't. It's like, but we're promoting it, but the artist gave it to us, but...
doesn't matter.
We have, we're all in this together. But
it's a 21st century version of when Universal Music fucked us.
Imagine that.
Somebody should make a movie about that.
Somebody should make a movie about that.
But really, it's the big guys going, no, you can't do that.
Yeah,
and
it is.
It's the same goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Because yes, we're trying to promote your stuff. We're not making any money off of this.
Yeah.
This is cool music. We want you to hear cool music. This is what we like. You think you'll like it too.
Yes.
That's why we're doing it.
Yes.
We're not doing it to make money. We're not doing it to be famous. We're not doing it for any other reason than to be able to say, this is cool. We like this. You're gonna like it.
Yes.
You got a seat at the table. This is us sharing our stuff with you. And it's the big guys upstairs going, no, you're not.
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
no, because we're not getting our
getting our
half
dollars.
a penny.
Yeah, exactly.
Off of every play.
Right. Yeah.
So
no, you're right.
God damn it, I'm going to sit here and
cheers to that.
And on that note,
Yes.
we've got something brand new for you.
I didn't do it. You saw it.
She'll get there.
I will get there. Yes.
We have a brand new segment we're going to call the Top 5. We're going to see how long we can do this. This in no particular order. And I think this is important because it is about exposing you to music. And we want to do that. That is our mission. And even though we can't play full songs necessarily on the show, I think we can do this. I think the algorithm will allow for this. So check this out. This is a brand new segment. It's meant to celebrate the best in what's happening in independent music right now. In no particular order, here's this week's Top 5. These are the top 5 artists and songs you need to add to your playlist in no particular order. Tess and the Details, Maniac.
She's a maniac, maniac on the floor. And she's dancing like she's never danced before.
The Hot takes, Ordinary Lovers.
Get out tonight. Another lie, but a time it off. Turn out the light when we discover that we're ordinary lovers.
Tommy Two-Tone, How Good.
How good is a good thing? How strong can one heart be?
Deadly Vices, Narcissist.
When you show yourself, your life is bliss, but no one pays attention. Show yourself, you can't resist. You know it's so pretentious, 'cause everyone's a narcissist like you.
Casper Allen and the Naturals, Damned Old Son.
Dawn may break, day may come, and the light of the damned old sun will paint the sky with gold as we grow angrier and hold me close, don't let go.
And it's just about that time. Here we are, rocking a brand new season for you, season 8, the very first episode, and lots of great things coming your way. Happy to be a part of it all with you, Morris Knight here. And I'm looking forward to us sharing even more of the great things that's all about the music scene. You know, in fact, a bunch of new segments, such as the top 5. That's going to be coming your way. You're going to really, really love that. You see here, one of my favorite things that we have coming your way is, you know, really about the Bay Area music scene as well. You know, I love the independent vibe that we have here. Not just a vibe, it's a reality. The independent music scene is really bustling. You know, I think like it hasn't in many years previous. I really think that we've got some great things that are coming our way, you know, for the Bay Area scene and beyond. And of course, one of my favorite things that we're going to be, you know, jumping into for this season 8 of Soundwaves TV is basically, hey, check out this song. We want to be bringing you new music that you're going to love, that you're going to hold on to, that you want to go out and buy and go out and support when you see them live. And then, of course, you know, I have a personal connection to the Bay Area scene, not only, you know, just being part of the radio scene here, but also, you know, on the band side as well. You know, in a couple of bands, and of course, right here on Soundwaves TV. So lots coming your way, and lots to be excited about as well. All right, let's get on to our power picks. So, what would you say that David Bowie and Prince and 9 Inch Nails all have in common? They do have something in common. Grammy Award-winning Mario J. McNulty, who was the producer that mixed our power pick of the week. Yeah, pretty good. So check this out. From a New York-based band, they call themselves The Ritualists. They got a brand new album on the way called Too Pure to Cure. It's going to be out on April 22nd. Mixes big melodies, existential dread, and just the right amount of rock and roll swagger. You're going to dig this from The Ritualists. This is called You Know Better on Soundwaves TV.
And that was our power pick, The Ritualists. It's called You Know Better, a very cool song that you only saw part of on the platform you're probably watching. If you want to see the entire video, actually, you can go to our Patreon. And
we're doing the best we can.
we are.
Don't get me started. I was just coming out of it. You know?
I know, right? He's still grumpy. but
yeah.
Here's something good.
Yeah.
Like we may show partial videos, but we can show full artists because they come into our studio and we get to chat with them.
That's true.
You like
That's
that segue?
true.
That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
That was
So,
good. Yes.
Gretchen Menn is coming up,
Yeah.
who I love and adore. We all love and adore. My crush is bigger than yours on her. So
I don't know. I don't
She's
know about
mine.
that.
I'm claiming. No, we love Gretchen. You've seen her on Soundwaves a million times, but she's going to come in and chat with us. And I just might have a wardrobe change. I bought a new shirt just for her. So yeah. So wait for that.
Well, I got to see how that works
I
out.
won't be changing on camera. Or maybe I will. I don't know.
You
Stay tuned.
I just want to point out how many things you just said that I didn't comment on, okay?
You're a
I'm
good
just
boy.
mental inventory. That's all.
You're good boys.
See?
You are.
This portion of Soundwaves TV is sponsored by Breakers, voted Pacifica's best daytime restaurant serving classic American breakfast, brunch, and lunch specialties. Great food, friendly staff, and amazing views with outdoor, dog-friendly seating. Life is better at Breakers. Open daily from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Rockaway Beach. Check out the menu and plan your next visit at ilovebreakers.com.
Please consider helping us continue our mission of lifting and supporting independent music by becoming a Soundwaves patron. In exchange, you'll be the first to see and hear all of our weekly shows, as well as have access to exclusive content. Just go to patreon.com/SoundwavesTV.
SoundwavesTV.com is your official home for Soundwaves merch. From coffee mugs to a variety of barware, hats, exclusive tees, and the exclusive Soundwaves commemorative challenge coin. Get all your shopping done at SoundwavesTV.com.
Hey everyone, you're watching Soundwaves TV. Chasta here with my absolute girl crush, Miss Gretchen Menn.
Aw, I couldn't wait to spend Valentine's with you.
I know.
I love you.
I love you. It's so cheesy, but behind the scenes. So you're our first guest on this season, which feels so right. But behind the scenes, it is actually Valentine's Day. So when Dennis booked this, and he was like, "Yeah, Gretchen's coming on," and I was like, "I get to spend Valentine's Day with Gretchen." Like I was so.
Well, that's why I said yes.
I love it. I mean, obviously, I could be, girl crushed on you because you're absolutely stunning, but that has nothing to do with it. Anybody can have beauty. No one can be Gretchen Menn. And with your absolute unbelievable talent, that's why we are here to focus on you. So you've been on with us with Zepparella before,
Yes.
which we love. And still to this day, by the way, I think that's like our highest viewed video
Really?
interview of all time on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, which is so
well,
cool.
You're good. That's why.
Oh yeah, it has everything to do with us, obviously. But we wanted to bring you on because you're such a superstar, and you have your solo work that I love so much. We love so much. So we, wanted to dive in and just focus on you.
Aw.
It's your time.
Oh,
your
well,
time
you're
to
so
shine.
Sweet. You're so sweet. What do you want to talk about?
Well, you've got so much to offer. I mean, you're a phenom guitarist, and I cannot overstate that. You're from San Francisco, right?
Yeah, well, I was born at Stanford, so from Palo Alto specifically.
Okay.
I say San Francisco because I'm just still not used to people knowing exactly where Palo Alto is.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah. And whenever you grew up in the Bay Area, like, how did your musical journey start?
Okay, so a lot of people have a hard time believing that my dad didn't just put a guitar in my hands because he's a writer and he wrote for Guitar Player magazine. Yeah. But as a kid, I didn't really I don't know how many kids really pay close attention to what their parents do. I just knew my dad was a writer, and when he was home, I was happy to see him.
Right.
And,
Didn't
it's
ask
like,
too
I didn't
many
be like, so
questions.
tell me what exactly you write about, Dad,
Right.
And then he ended up actually leaving right around, before I got interested in guitar. So by the time I did get interested in guitar, it's like I started listening to, I think Joe Satriani was the first one I got into.
Love it.
Another local.
Yeah.
And Steve Vai, Eric Johnson, Steve Morse. So I started listening to this stuff before I started playing.
Yeah.
And right around that time when I started listening to, I think it was specifically Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, and Eric Johnson. And then Steve Morse was going to be playing locally.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my dad, like, do you know this guy or whatever? And he's like, I kind of know something about this. So we went to Tower Records and we bought a stack of CDs. So he's like, okay, if you like Eric Johnson and Steve Vai and Joe Satriani, you got to get Jeff Beck. You got to get, Django Reinhardt's amazing. And so he got me he pointed me in like a lot of interesting directions once I got interested on my own. And
What age are we talking here?
Early teens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Did he, before he got you this stack of CDs, did he push you in that direction, or were you finding these artists on your own?
I was just finding them on my own.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to remember, Surfing with the Alien was like a #1 album. So it's like you would hear it on the
radio, the
and
bone.
so,
Yeah.
So you would hear it everywhere, and it was like I just thought it was so cool.
Yeah. When did you decide, like, I'm going to try my hand at this?
It was actually, I saw Eric Johnson play, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he has so much joy and exuberance in his playing. And I thought, I want some of that. Like, would I have that if I could play guitar, so I started taking guitar lessons from a guy I'm still really close friends with. His name's Sam Eigen. He ended up playing in a bunch of bands, Smash Mouth for a while.
Oh, cool.
And he's one of my dearest friends. And I remember from my earliest lessons, I remember being like, can I learn this Eric Johnson song? Can I learn this Steve Morse song, Too Many Notes? And he never laughed at me.
Oh, that's
he
so
just like, he would like tab out 8 measures for me and be like, okay, have at it, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
So it was really nice. I had really... I was lucky to have really supportive teachers. What I didn't have, and this is something I talk with my husband a lot about, is I didn't have like the community the way I feel like a lot of like, you know, teenage boys have. I hope it's changed, but I felt like I didn't have like a group of friends who would get around and share knowledge. I felt like kind of music was something that kind of isolated me until I found, I guess, like Clementine, who is the drummer for Zepparella, and Zepparella's my second band.
I know. That's amazing, because you were in an AC/DC tribute.
That's how I met Clementine for
That's
1 year before. So that was my first professional band. And then Zepparella started right after. Clementine did not have to, she took such a gamble on me. I was so green.
Yeah.
And she was like such a pro.
She saw it in you, though. She knew.
I think she knew that I cared and was willing to work hard.
And saw that potential in you and thought, okay, I mean, God bless Clementine for taking
gosh.
that. Yeah. But I mean, you know, AC/DC, I love AC/DC. Do not get me wrong. This is not a dig, but it's like 4 on the Floor. Like, that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different ball of wax than Led Zeppelin and taking on Jimmy Page.
It's a lot. I mean, both are so wonderful for different reasons. I mean, it's funny because with AC/DC, I was really wanting to play rock music. I wanted to play lead guitar. And the other criteria I had is I wanted something that was going to require me to get some semblance of stage presence, because I started on classical guitar.
Right.
And I was like, you know, I'm going to be one of those shoegazers unless something forces me out. So when I had the opportunity, I'm like, check.
Yeah.
Okay,
done.
I'm Agnes Young. and that was incredibly fun. So much fun.
Yeah.
And Zeppelin was just this huge spectrum. I mean, AC/DC has their lane and they own it like nobody else.
1,000%.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Zeppelin, it's like, okay, get a slide, get a bow, get used to open tunings, like
all of it.
You get it's a guitar player's amusement park.
Yeah.
And it's a great education.
Well, okay, that was where I was headed with that. Is like, what's the intimidation factor there when you jump into something like that? Because it's a big ask, and lovely that Clementine was like, you got this, girl, but then you have to learn all of that.
I think I still got points for being like, well, at least I sat down and learned all the notes.
Absolutely,
you know?
And you're taking this beast on.
And I think, you know, there was probably, you know, maybe a little bit of, I think the low expectations worked in our favor. So it meant that, you know, when you show up and people expect you to be absolute crap, and then you're not
you're not
and you're
entirely
better,
crap.
you have good moments where it's not as crappy, then they're like, oh, pleasantly surprised. So I think that, you know, I don't know. I feel like I got really lucky to start playing a lot really early on.
Yeah.
And I don't know how lucky I was to have people suffer through, you know, my growing up on stage.
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
and that's exactly what you've done. And I have to be careful when I talk about you to maybe somebody who isn't aware of you. I describe you sometimes as a guitar phenom, and I never mean to say that like, oh, you were just born with all this talent, because I know you do have a lot of talent, but the work, the never ending, your whole soul is in it type of work that you have really dove in your whole career. I mean, don't you have your master? Aren't you getting your master's?
Yeah, I'm getting an MFA in orchestration and professional composition.
My point exactly. Like, you know, it's one thing to play guitar over here, and then it's a whole nother thing to live, eat, and breathe it to that level.
Oh, it's so fun. It's that ever receding horizon. Like, I seriously had like a total crisis earlier this week of just being like, oh my God, I have to get it together. You know,
we all have that.
I feel like guitar, well, I don't, maybe everybody does. I feel like guitar players, it's like we're so surrounded by such incredible musicians from every corner that, and as soon as you think you know how good Joe Satriani is, and then you sit down and you listen to it again and you listen really attentively, you're like, wow, all of these things that I didn't think were difficult that I now know are difficult, and he's so amazing at. It's like, gosh, the simplest melody, and he plays it so well.
Beautifully.
I seriously don't know how any guitar player can have an overly inflated ego. It's like, open your eyes. I mean, it's like everybody, you get good at one thing, and there's like a zillion other people who are so much better at everything else, right? And people who are even better. It's like, I guess where I try to keep my mind away is comparing myself to other people, but it's not like I'm successful at doing that. Like I do it all the time and I tell myself to stop and I still do it and then I hate myself.
Yeah.
But then, I have like my touchstones. Like I was listening to, Jeff Beck is always the one I come back to, where it's like, you can name all sorts of different guitar players who are maybe more technical or more of this or that, and he came up with his own rule book. He's like, he's the most Jeff Becky of all guitar players.
Yeah, right.
And that's why it's like, when
great.
you
That's
can
freeing.
Yeah.
And
yet at the same time, it's like I'm feeling in myself also just that continued renewed desire to be like, to push myself further and try to work harder and learn deeper and explore deeper, and not just as much as I love, and I continue to love learning great music, whether it's Jimmy Page or Bach or, any number of people, which is great for building your vocabulary. We learn language imitatively, right? We learn to speak from our parents. And so I think that can be really useful for continuing to challenge yourself and expand your vocabulary, but I guess it doesn't stop there, right?
Yeah.
The idea is how do you put all of these different ingredients together in your own brain and then come out with something that's authentic and not just kind of a pastiche of, your heroes.
and has your stamp on it.
Yeah.
Like that's what makes Gretchen.
And I think that's the holy grail. And I'm not there,
Yeah.
but I'm working on it.
That's incredible. I mean, you mentioned Bach and you do marry classical music with this contemporary guitar and you study it. And we've talked about the cinematic style of this. When you're thinking about writing for film and TV in the cinematic space, I've talked to Danny Elfman a few times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My friend Neely. Well,
We were there.
Yeah,
We were
I saw
backstage.
you.
Yeah.
Of course. Right. That's the last time I saw you.
Your sidebar, one of your best friends is his guitarist, right?
Yes, Neely Brosh, amazing guitar player. We met because we kept getting featured on lists together of like, here's 10 women who have practiced their instruments.
Exactly, yes.
And so I think I just I looked her up on YouTube or something, and I was like, oh wow, I hate myself so much right now.
She's so phenomenal.
She's
I
so
know.
good. She's
Yeah.
so good. But then I think I just wrote her a note, and because I feel like camaraderie wins over competition. And when somebody becomes your friend, you can't be in competition with them because you're just happy that you have such badass friends. Yes. And so I reached out to her, and she responded so sweetly, and we basically became really good friends instantly. And she's one of my dearest friends, and an
so
amazing,
sweet.
amazing musician.
I think there's so much power in that, lifting each other up. Yeah. Does it bother you when people focus on the girl side of this? Because when I think about you as a guitar player, I'm not thinking that's my favorite female guitar player. I'm thinking that is an incredibly badass guitar player who I guess just happens to be female.
Well, I mean, that's wonderful. I wish everybody thought that way.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's funny. I've got mixed feelings on it. I never really formulated my thoughts, but it's something that comes up a lot. Now, I've got a great dad. I've got an amazing husband who's like my musical hero. So it's like I don't have like a chip on my shoulder against like guys.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But I will say that it is kind of weird to be clumped in a group based on just body parts, where you're like, well, wait a minute, but there's people who maybe I'm much more akin to in terms of my musical taste or my musical direction. But it's really easy for people to be like, here are people with these chromosomes who are and they're all the same. And you might be in a totally different musical direction. You might have a whole different like musical ethos or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. But at the same time, I'm like, hey, whatever supports other people doing what they're doing is good.
Yeah.
I think where it kind of bugs me is if it feels like a limitation or a pigeonhole.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'd be an idiot to say like that it hasn't benefited me on some level. I think anytime you're more visible within a group of people, you get more eyes on you. And that's for better and for worse.
Sure.
Sometimes I feel like I'll get comments and I'm like, man, if I were a dude with an awesome beard and neck tattoos,
you would never
wouldn't have
say
said
that. Totally, yeah.
You'd be hearing it differently.
Sure.
They've even done
There's
a thing.
bias, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you've read Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, but he talks about how for a long time women were really underrepresented in symphony orchestras, and it was when anytime it would come up, people would, the people who were hiring them would say, oh, well, they didn't have the power, blah, 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 until they started doing auditions behind screens.
And there you go.
50% now. And so it's like, I think there is still, and this was blind. This was just on how it sounded. Yeah. But I think
As it should be.
we're visual creatures.
We are.
And
It's true.
hard. I mean, on one hand, we got to accept that's how it is. And on the other, we can say, well, can we do better?
Can we do it a different
Yeah,
way?
yeah.
I hate to be inappropriate here, but I've been asked that question. And I'm like, I don't wake up thinking I have a vagina. I'm gonna go against the world today. Like that's not. You know what I mean? That's
No,
just
I
not
think
how
about
you
what I
think.
have to practice. I'm not
Exactly.
like, oh, well, hello.
Yeah, it's like here's what I need to do. Here's my art. I'm gonna go do that thing.
Yeah,
it's just weird. It's a weird focus.
Well, and it's also one of those things. It's like, look, I don't know. Like, this is just what happened.
Yeah.
Like
I came out like this. I love this. I do this. There you go. It is what it is.
exactly. Like, here's what I've worked on.
Yeah.
Here's what just happened to me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's true.
it's the stuff that you've worked on, I guess, is the stuff that you kind of wish people would pay more attention to. Yeah.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm utterly impressed with you all the time. Also,
so
just your
sweet.
aura, your spirit behind the scenes. I did an interview with Mikey Ross earlier today, and we were talking about. He was like, "Oh, I love Gretchen," and I was like, "No, I love Gretchen." We had like a whole thing, and he was like, it's her spirit, the way she holds herself." And he said, I give him credit. It's like aristocratic. Like you just hold
Really?
yourself in that way. So you are
Oh,
very.
man. I didn't drop any F-bombs today either.
And I surprisingly didn't either. Wow.
We hadn't talked about it in advance, so I'm like, say
Can
crap
I?
instead.
I love it. Well, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for
spending
having me.
Valentine's
Oh
Day.
my
with me.
gosh. Oh, I love it. You were the sweetest.
I
You're
had
my
to.
girl
Are you
crush.
kidding?
Yes.
So check her out. I know you already know, but if you don't, check her out, Gretchen Menn. Thank you so much for watching Soundwaves TV. We'll be right back.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back. That was Chasta with Gretchen Menn, and what an incredible interview.
Yeah, of course. Of course, you can check out the entire interview over there on our YouTube page, Soundwaves, youtube.com/Soundwaves TV.
Yeah, we only can play such a small portion because there's so much content in the show. So catch all of it there. And welcome to Joe and Joe in season 8.
Oh, we're back, baby.
We are back. And wait a second.
Oh, yeah. I actually remember this time. We're back, baby.
We
Season
are
8.
back, season 8.
A lot of new stuff for you guys that we're going to be giving it to you. Of course, you can find everything over at soundwavestv.com.
Yep.
But we also have a lot of other, ways that you can also get early on editions of some of the stuff that we're putting out.
Exactly. So we have a little thing that we do called Soundwaves FM. We have a little thing we do called TMI. And we put all of that on soundwavestv.com. And so you guys can come out and see it then. But there is a way that you could get it a little bit on the earlier side.
That's right. Just simply sign up to be a patron of our Patreon. Just search for Soundwaves TV. We got some very, reasonable prices. But, if you get up to the highest tier, you might find your name in the credits at the end of every Soundwaves TV episode.
Ooh.
So something to think about. Something to think about. Plus, it all helps supports us. Batteries are not cheap.
Yep.
So let's be honest. Batteries are not cheap. SD cards are not cheap.
Nope. A lot of time, effort, and money out of our pocket goes into putting these shows together. And so, hey, throw a dog a bone.
Please. And speaking of bone, one of the newest things that we have going on for Soundwaves TV, we call it the side hustle, which we get to, showcase all the different, basically side hustles that Soundwaves, hosts are doing, including our very own Chasta with Baby Huey. They've actually started their own podcast on YouTube. And we're actually going to take a look where they got to interview Miles Kennedy when he was in town. So check it out.
Okay, I have to ask you a singer's question, and I'm only asking you because I feel like I know you so well, and I trust that you won't think I'm being a jerk in this question. Okay, so I've put my disclaimer out there because you are known for having this magical, crazy range voice. Like you can push yourself to just places that most people could never, ever, ever. When you make that choice, do you think about singing that in your 70s? Because Huey and I are ready. Like we're ready to see you in your 70s, your 80s. But like, let's just be real here for a second. Robert Plant, as much as I love him, and he is a god to me. Okay, he cannot hit what he could hit when he was that much younger. Do you think about that? Like Starlight. I'll just take Starlight. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. That song vocally is a freaking beast.
Yes, it's
like. How do you how do you think about that, or do you? Because you're young now, you don't have to think about it now.
Well, I'm getting closer to that stage in the golden years. But,
you are not. Stop it.
Golden years. But there are times when I think, man, I painted myself into a corner with stuff I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
I want to pull guys aside who track really high vocals all the time when they're younger. Like, hey, just as the elder statesman, you're going to come to regret this. Trust me.
I'm glad you said it like that. I was trying to be very delicate because it's kind of an asshole question, and I don't mean to be, but I've just wondered it.
It's a great question, and it's something but what's funny is I've discovered as time goes on that I kind of prefer my voice in a lower register. And I almost, I did a record a long time ago. It was the second Mayfield 4 record with Peter Collins, who, rest his soul, he great producer. He produced some of the 80s Rush records. And he told me the story how, Geddy used to always sing really high all the time. And it was Peter who said, hey, it might be more effective if you sing lower and then punctuate occasionally with the high stuff.
Yeah.
And man, that really stuck with me. And I feel like I use it now kind of as a punctuation as opposed to.
I have noticed that. Yeah, I have definitely noticed that. And it's interesting because it begs the question, I guess, if you can, should you? Always. And the punctuation idea is a really good way to put that. I like that a lot.
It's kind of the same way I think about guitar playing, whereas like some guys have real great technical prowess and they show it off constantly, but it's the guys who can do it, who have it kind of in their hip pocket, and they play beautiful melodic solos, and then occasionally this flurry of notes go, oh, that he also can do that. I always like that. There's something about that. Just knowing it's there and occasionally pulling it out of the trick bag. It's the same thing with vocals.
All right, guys, that was Chasta and Baby Huey talking to Miles Kennedy. And, of course, if you want to check out the full interview that they did with them, get down into the description. We have a link to their new YouTube podcast page. And, and that's what we call the side piece. I mean, the side hustle. I'm sorry. Kirk. Yeah, Kirk got that in my head. I know you do. Honestly, come on. Bumper Sticker says I'm a Soundwave side piece. Okay. Before I cancel us on episode 1 of season 8, it's just an example of all the new stuff that we have going on this year for Soundwaves TV.
Exactly, and so it's something new. We got to bring a different flavor to the table every season. Yeah. And there is so many people in the Soundwaves universe that are doing different things, and we thought it would be a great way to just expose you to more content.
Exactly.
So check it out, Soundwaves TV. You can find all the different side hustles that we do there, and we'll be bringing them to you weekly.
Exactly.
So you want to check them out.
And, you're going to be checking out some of it here in just a little bit. After, speaking of sponsors, we are going to be seeing a performance at the Complex, SF, our gracious sponsors. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll be seeing a performance from Miss Gretchen Menn, who we saw Chasta speak to earlier in the episode today. And don't forget, get on over to youtube.com/SoundwaveTV to see that full interview. Yep. But stay tuned. An amazing performance from Gretchen Menn at the Complex SF right after this.
This portion of Soundwaves TV is sponsored by Breakers, voted Pacifica's best daytime restaurant, serving classic American breakfast, brunch, and lunch specialties. Great food, friendly staff, and amazing views with outdoor dog-friendly seating. Life is better at Breakers. Open daily from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Rockaway Beach. Check out the menu and plan your next visit at ilovebreakers.com.
And if you are a musician, we want to hear your jams. If you'd like to be considered for airplay on either Soundwaves FM on 107.7 The Bone or right here on Soundwaves TV, then go to 107.thebone.com/Soundwaves. It's like sliding into the DMs of your crush, but with a higher success rate.
You guys are crazy, man.
Closed captioning for Soundwaves TV is brought to you by Green Room Music Center, offering rock camp, music lessons, a drum shop, and rehearsal spaces for rent. For more information, go to greenroommusiccenter.com.
So there we are. Great interview with Chasta's crush, Gretchen Menn.
I mean, is she not the most lovely?
I'm giving you that one.
Regal.
I'm giving you that one.
She's like music royalty here in the Bay Area. I just love her.
Oh, absolutely.
And humble.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The most humble.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, we forgot to cheers.
Oh, yeah. there
And we do need to pour some out for our homie.
Beer Kitty. Okay, so they're drinking one kind of beer. I am honoring Beer Kitty from Devil's Canyon Brewing. Who
You didn't have to call us out, by the way. We could all have been drinking beer.
We're all drinking.
He did
we're
throw
all,
us flat under the bus.
We're
Yeah,
all,
These assholes over here are drinking something else. Me, I'm cool. I'm drinking the Beer Kitty.
Yeah, wow.
Anyway, so Beer Kitty
And your Beer
lived
Kitty.
a very long and awesome life hanging out at Devil's Canyon Brewing, who are good friends of ours, and they actually immortalized Beer Kitty in a beer. So
I do love that. Let me hold it to look like
Yes.
I'm drinking it too. You can do the
Here, let
same.
me-
Ready?
let me-
Screenshot it. Everyone
No, and I
enjoys Beer
think
Kitty.
when we did our release of Into the Groove,
Yes.
I think there is footage of Beer Kitty.
I think
in
there
one
is.
of the
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Dennis, let's go ahead and roll that in.
Wait, hold on. If you're seeing Beer Kitty right now, that means that footage exists.
I just made an extra hour's
You
worth of work
did.
for
You
Dennis
totally did.
because he threw us under the bus
You
about the Beer
just
Kitty
saw
beer.
like an immediate, and that was immediate
Anyway,
karma that just
so what's
happened.
coming up next, Chasta?
Okay, all right. So you saw Gretchen Menn and how lovely she is in conversation, but we have to show you how lovely she is when she plays that fantastic guitar.
Yep.
So we're gonna do that with our buddies over at the Complex in San Francisco. So here we go, Gretchen Menn, Soundwaves TV. Well, that is almost a wrap for us here at Soundwaves TV. Another cheers. I got it this time. Watch me. Yay!
See, we're going to be able to edit this all together. We're going to take this episode and break it down to all the times we tried to do it right, and half of the time that it got fucked up.
I think that was the first time I got it right.
One of our little Soundwave shorts that we'll be able to put up.
Love that.
Every time we tried to do the Ted
That's
Lasso.
great. Steve
Welcome to
just
our Soundwaves
signed
meeting.
up for an editing project, so that's good. That's good.
See? You tried to create work for him, now he's creating work for you. See?
be like-
It's cyclical. That's how it happened.
Now I got to go back to my grumpy beer drinking phase here.
Exactly. Okay, so next week we have something so special for you. This is so exciting. So Mikey Ross, he is a producer extraordinaire. You've seen him on Soundwaves, or if you haven't, I'm telling you, next week is a masterclass.
Yes.
Literally, you're going to need like a notepad. Take notes, because he really spells out a plan for bands, what you can do for your best shot at, I hate to use this word, but making it, whatever that means in 2025. But he really has a roadmap. He talks about what works and what doesn't. It's incredibly inspiring. It's like a masterclass meets a TED Talk here on Soundwaves TV.
I mean,
so
seriously, if
excited
you
about
are in a band, if
Yeah.
you play any kind of instrument, you make any kind of art, you need to watch this.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I mean, I think the episode should be called The Mikey Ross Experience.
Seriously,
You know,
though.
because this motherfucker,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, he is a class unto himself. He's like, here we are on Earth, and there's Mikey over here on this other
I
planet.
even said
doing
during,
it.
during
Yeah.
the chat, I said,
Yeah.
you do realize if you had a church, I would be there,
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
in the front pew. I said that during
Yep.
the chat. So yeah, you got to watch it next week.
Yep. So that's Soundwaves TMI,
That's right.
and that's really something.
Yeah.
And Patreon. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yes, yes.
Because we are really stepping up our Patreon. You know, we have a short amount of patrons. We'd like more, and one of the things we're doing is we're really stepping up the exclusive content. In that, you're going to be able to get all aspects, like everything you're watching here, you get first on Patreon.
Yeah.
You get expanded music video versions on Patreon. You get Soundwaves FM before it hits the radio airwaves first, and we'll share all kinds of fun stuff. You know, as we are getting closer to having a finished documentary, as we work on stuff, that's going to be where you're going to find everything first. So if you want to support local media, you want to support our mission to support artists. If you're an artist yourself, we're your best friend.
Yes.
You know, and
Yes.
you throw $5 a month in, believe me, it means a lot to us, and hopefully it'll help you that much more.
Well, it helps us keep this train rolling.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, that's why we're here. So seriously, whether depending on which side of that coin you fall on, whether you're a viewer, whether you're a musician, I mean, it's certainly not like a pay for play bullshit or anything like that.
No.
But it really is. If you dig what we're doing, by all means, get involved and help us get the word out.
For the price of a beer.
Yeah.
$5.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And I mean,
she hit me right where I live. there.
right, that's what I'm saying. You want to continue this part of Soundwaves because we wouldn't be the same without it. Help us stock our fridge, for God's sake. It's 2025. We don't stock it with eggs. We stock it with beer.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Although if we promised them eggs, that would get a better response.
Don't get
crazy, though. Don't get crazy.
Just want to give them away gold bars or something like that.
Yeah,
All right.
seriously.
So in honor of Beer Kitty.
Yes. We have loads of people to thank, right?
Yes, we do. Thanks to Gretchen Menn, Miles Kennedy, and Baby Huey.
I was the only one that did it.
Morris Knight.
I was the only one that did it.
That's true.
Asshole.
Shit, I didn't do it.
And Joey Mack and Joe Hawk.
Yes. We love you all. I'll get it down. All right.
And here we go.
All right, ready? One more time.
Yay!
Cheers.
See you next week.